Continuing with our tale of the first pillar, one of the most glorious examples of notarialism is the setting of the year of birth of Dante. And for this, historians used not contemporary records, but the most unassailable record of all, the Bible. Professor Robert Hollander, in his Dictionary of the Middle Ages, tells us how. In Dante's Divine Comedy, the first part entitled the Inferno begins Nel mezzo del cammin di nostra vita mi ritrovai per una selva oscura. That is to say, in the middle of the pathway of our life, I found myself within a forest dark. And from this modest clue, in a feat of logic that would have left Sherlock Holmes breathless, the date of his birth can be drawn. But how? Dante says that the poem begins on the night before Good Friday in the year 1300. Well, to be precise, he doesn't say that. What he says is, yesterday, 5 hours from now, marked 1,266 years since this bridgeway crashed in ruins here. Now, the argument goes, we have to assume that when he said the bridge crashed in ruins, he was really talking about Jesus' death. And if we further assume that Jesus was born on December the 25th, the year 0, forgetting the 4-year error the Church made in the calendar, of course, and then we assume that he was 33 years old when he died, then that takes you to the night before Good Friday, April the 7th, 1300. Logically, though, since the Bible doesn't say how old Jesus was when he died, the date of the start of Dante's journey could have been anywhere from 1286, had Jesus died when he was 20, to 1321, when the experts say Dante died. In a nutshell, then, Dante didn't say it was set in 1300, but the story is a nice one to tell the youngsters gathered around the professor's lectern on a cold night in a cathedral of Academe. Let's press on, though, as if this fiction were true, and explore the crucial part of this tour de force. And here it comes. The average human lifetime, according to Psalms 90 verse 10, is 70 years. And if the middle of Dante's journey took place in 1300, then Dante must have been born in 1265. Notarialism at its very best. Are you convinced? Paintings of Dante, though, say he was born in 1245. And then there is the case of the early Renaissance artist Cimabue, renowned for giving characters far more lifelike proportions, postures, and three-dimensional shading. The earliest reference to this artist is in Ghiberti's works, where, if one reads him in the original Italian, we find he does not specify the artist's gender. Italian can be ambiguous about this, and Ghiberti was. Translate it into English and you have to decide, male or female. But easy, no? Easy for a male chauvinist art historian, certainly. Because however could any woman paint so wonderfully? But Cimabue was a woman. She tells us clearly over and over in her paintings that she was Maria of Brabant, second wife of Count Amadeus V of Savoy, a person who we know as Amaduccio, or Duccio for short. And they did the same with Simone Martini. Jean Lenoir, and Zanobi Strozzi. Ladies all, not men as the notarials would have it. To wind up, even if the notary was not a family member, like the dads of Amerigo Vespucci and Leonardo da Vinci, and fixing the records either to throw assassins off the trail or to revise a line of succession for capo of the clan, and even if the scribe was not dreaming about their girlfriend or boyfriend, or nursing a grudge against a nasty boss, and all was recorded correctly, then we still have the problem of the art historian who could not read the text. Jan van Eyck's painting The Madonna with Canon Joris van der Pijl, for example, was not only painted 30 years later than experts would have it, they fixed the date to appear before his proposed death in 1441, without any other evidence, but it is a homage to his brother Paolo, by then a cardinal, and who had been subject of an assassination attempt in Valencia. There is no such name as Paoli. Look it up on Google. The ecclesiastical name his brother was using at the time was Juan de Torquemada. The notarialist confused not only O's for E's in Paolo, but also missed other names of great importance. So one of the pillars of erudite knowledge is the simple-minded belief that one can take the slenderest of written records, totally ignore the big picture of how and why these records may have been created, and then present wildly extrapolated conclusions as fact. Indeed, as the fact upon which one then builds such things as the dates by which a painting must have been painted, that is, before a fictitious date of death. So why then should we believe written records in paintings? First, because there's good reason to think that this was what the artist actually believed. It was not being done for the purpose of deceiving an assassin, or the goddess Nemesis, or the forces of catharsis. The artist may have been wrong in his or her beliefs, but they were genuinely held. And second, because the resource is vast, and we will usually find the same thing said in many other paintings, painted at different times, in different places, under different circumstances, and by other artists as well.